better call somebody!
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host. Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker. And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi, and one of my co-hosts is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on, Kyle? Feels like it's just a two-man show. We've got Erica lurking around, technological issues. We're going to figure it out. We're going to shoot from the hip, tight time window. Let's get it in.
Yes, we definitely got to get it in this evening for episode 81. Erica is around. She's trying to figure out what's going on with her computer, so we're hoping she will be able to join us mid-show. So, Tuck, what's good, man? Haven't talked to you in a week. What's new?
Oh man, we the weather out here has been delightful. We're hitting 60s. We're going mid 60s over the weekend.
Really?
Baseball practice is going well. We got a lot of guys coming out. We've got a big weekend ahead of us. My wife and I, we've got a little race run we're doing on Sunday, and life is good. 1 week. I've got one more week of school after tomorrow, and then we've got ski break, which is apparently a thing out here, winter break in February, and then we also have a spring break in April. Life is good. And tomorrow, big news, tomorrow is the first day in the last 2 school years that I will be teaching a class without a mask on.
Wow.
Okay.
That is big news. And I'm looking down at the bottom of the screen and I see Erica lurking. She's giving us the fingers, Tuck. Not yet.
We at one moment there we had 2 windows with Erica in it. And life
Erica, we can hear you. I can hear you.
She lives.
What is this?
Ladies and gentlemen, at Erica_0328. Erica, how are we doing tonight?
Stressful. I had to type that in again. This was a disaster. I was on my phone.
Like Tuck, you made it work. Like Tuck said, you had two camera angles going on for a second. I thought you were going to give the fans multiple views.
I was going to have to do it on my phone.
They were about to get that Patreon view where they were getting the side cams and things like that.
But if they ain't paying $3.99,
yeah, $399.00 for those of you that think we're cheapos. That's
cheap.
And that's a deal. It's cheaper than MJF cameos. I'll tell you that. Donna,
look at who the first person
in the building. Come on, she's in contention for the MVM. Obviously, the weekly award that we give every week, we send a decal out. Most valuable Mark on the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Would love to send that to Donna. Hey-o.
It would be very easy to send it to her. It would be very easy because you just give it to me and I can give it to her. But I don't think she's going to win. Yeah, I don't think she's going to win this week. Erica, it's nice of you to join us. I know you came in at the very last second.
I did.
What were you doing? Were you out being social and stuff?
I was. I made some last minute dinner plans with my friend Bobby, which Kyle, you are well acquainted with.
What is that?
That's his arch enemy. That's his arch enemy.
It's not.
A little bit. Yeah, we went to Quinn, and I had a lavender margarita, which I've never heard before. It is delectable. It was delicious. It's made with cream of coconut.
So you're getting drunk and you're getting calm at the same time.
Let me just tell you this: my audio and technology wasn't just working. I don't think I was really bothered. I was like, I'll just get it one way.
You're just going to end up watching the show. I think that was your plans if you couldn't figure out the technology.
If it wasn't working on my phone, I was just going to say, screw it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, fair enough.
We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Yeah.
Bogus is with you, though. He's a big Mark guy. He's chiming in the comments. Our buddy Aaron Rodgers and Quinn also in the chat. But before we get into all things wrestling, don't forget to show some love to the Overtime Sports Network. You see the logo above me. Go to otsportsnetwork.wixsite.com/OTSN, and you can follow us where Tuck on Twitter and Instagram.
People, easy at _OTSN.
Sorry, put my hair up.
You are familiar with the underscore going with at Erica _0328.
You're familiar.
Use that same button, that same underscore button at _OTSN. That's it.
That is very, very simple. Go ahead, go to that website, get yourself some OTM merch like Erica is wearing right now. And speaking of the OTM merchandise, I am awaiting the arrival, Tuck, of the correct size on my OTM hoodie, as Tuck discovered when we were in St. Louis for the Royal Rumble. I had a double XL, so my cousin Tyler now has a free OTM hoodie, and hopefully in the next couple days, I will have a large OTM hoodie to represent.
I thought he just got it like big, like it was like his boyfriend's sweatshirt.
I just want to point out that you were like, man, this is a little big on me. And it was a nightgown when I saw it in person. It wasn't even close. And I thought it was.
You sent me that picture dying. You go, Eric, I am dying. And I'm like, what? And then like I saw the picture. It was like down to his knees.
Yes. Not great. Not great.
Yeah, so hopefully if you decide to order some merchandise, you don't get the wrong size and you don't have a nightgown like I had when I was in St. Louis for the Royal Rumble.
Or maybe you like that.
And yeah, to be clear, a large gives you room. Like you still have room in a large. You had plenty of room in a 2XL.
And I would also like to say, because it's contrary to other brands, but these, like the hoodie that I have and this t-shirt, like they fit very true to size. The small is not a tight fitting hoodie. It's nice. Like they fit nicely.
Yeah. And when you're ordering the merch, if you do want the small, you're going to look for SMAWL, small.
Small.
Correct. How Erica would pronounce things. Correct.
Yes.
That's what you're looking for right there. Yeah. And also, if you didn't see, I know you two saw it. We're on Instagram now. I said, you know what? I think we should pop off and join the Instagram train. So it's the same handle as Twitter, at Pot on the Mark. And maybe if we get to 50 followers, guys, we can do a giveaway. How does that sound?
I'm into that.
I've got to update the slide, but we're holding on to a few things that we tried to give away at 400, and we got pretty close on Twitter. So I've got to update the slide here, get an Instagram logo. It's the same thing, so I might as well just shrink that to one. It's been a week for all of us, and we're getting through it. And the AEW Dynamite last night certainly set us up for a rocket. So let's get into it.
We will get into AEW after a few headlines here to start the show. So if you're tuning in just for the AEW talk, we'll get there in about 5 to 10 minutes. But let's get on some headlines going on here in the WWE. Starting with Tuesday night, Dolph Ziggler showed up on NXT television. Now, if you don't watch NXT but listen to our show, Ziggler did indeed show up and sort of hijacked, I guess you could say, the contract signing between Braun Breaker and Santos Escobar. And Erica, we've talked about wanting this to become more of a thing, and it seems like they wanted to be in having some of this main roster talent in NXT.
I mean, first of all, I felt cool because like we did say that, and then I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like,
you texted me that too.
And I have to say, like, when we were going back and forth with people, like originally, like, oh, we said the AJ Styles, maybe Finn, this and that. I don't know that we said Dolph, but as soon as his music hit, I was like, absolutely. Like, he makes perfect sense to come down, have some bangers or whatever he's planning to do. I'm already into it. So yeah, I'm real interested to see where this all goes.
Tuck, any thoughts?
No, I agree. It's going to be good for some of those guys that might be underutilized on the main card to go down there, and it gives NXT 2.0, which has a developmental feel, it gives it a little bit more of a big time feel. And apparently that's a one-way street. We talked about with the Royal Rumble how we saw 0 NXT call-ups in the Rumble, even though we thought the women's Rumble especially could have used it with 15 legends. But I'm here for it, and it's not like you buy in thinking that Dolph Ziggler is going to get a big run, but it's fun. Like I'm not going to give back the AJ Styles Grayson Waller match. I'm not giving it back. It's ours. We had it.
And you know what I appreciated when, yes, like you said, like these guys, some of these guys are underutilized, and Dolph especially, in my opinion, but he came down and he was sitting in that chair and he just started listing off all of his accolades and accomplishments. And like, what could you take away from him? Like, absolutely nothing. Like, he went down there, like, I don't know. It's awesome.
Another thing I noticed too is like the initial pop that he got was a loud and positive reaction, and then he was instantly able to just flip that crowd and get him to boo him because he started just talking shit. I don't care about anybody here. The same crowd that shows up here in Orlando, Florida, you guys don't matter because I have all these accomplishments like you listed. Bogus said, I still think about that Cesaro Sami Zayn NXT match to this day before Sammy blew up. Yeah. I mean, there is some of the best matches that we saw there in the mid 20 teens going on in NXT. So hopefully,
I feel like that's got to be a trip. Like Orlando's a destination. We could pop off in the winter. It's getting, it gets frigid. A December trip, something like
I'm gonna sprinkle a little something on there. My family has a condo about like an hour from Orlando. Very doable.
Sign me up. I'll be there.
So
cool. Could you imagine OTM taking over NXT for a week? Come on. Now.
I've got to relax. So Royal Rumble Jimmy is in hibernation for a while.
That's what happens.
Okay, Florida will be there.
For those listening, there have been rumblings of a SummerSlam mix up. Tangle. We'll see. The conversation has been started. The ball has been pushed. So
a tangle and Tuck might be getting a tingle. Oh, some would say. I like when Tuck gets tingles. It gets me excited too. When he gets tingles, I get tingles.
Yep. Patreon.com/pot on the mark. $399.
We keep joking about this Patreon, but I honestly think we're going to have to start it eventually.
There's going to be we're good enough for one creep, and that 1 month pays for many different things for us. So
would you say one creep?
Yeah,
we're good enough for one creep. Like we can
I'll
lean
into it. Yeah.
Erica can get us a few. I don't think me or Tuck are gonna draw in any creeps.
Don't sell yourself short, Kyle.
Tucky's tingles. Yeah, come on, no.
Oh,
see, look, we already got one subscription right there. Ryan Vogus, the MVM, says he would subscribe just for Tuck. So. We got the ball rolling there, but hey, we got one more headline to talk about before we get into AEW Dynamite. So let's get into this story right here with Kurt Angle, WWE Hall of Famer, was supposed to be on Raw this week and get involved with the Quiz Bowl segment that they had on this week's show, but those plans were scrapped. And he also was supposed to be a special guest referee at the Elimination Chamber for a match between RK Bro and Alpha Academy, but that was also scrapped, and nobody really knows why, Tuck. And I think I speak for most people. I would have liked to see Kurt Angle get involved in this feud.
I watched the Untold between Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle this past week, which kind of gave me a newfound respect for Kurt Angle. He wasn't big in either of my runs of fandom. He was on his way out when I started back. He was on his way in when I kind of stopped. But man, what a tough guy. And I would have welcomed it too, because it feels like they plan to use him in a non-invasive hijack a storyline type of way as a supplement and an enhancement,
a side piece, you could say.
And I would have been there for it. Yeah.
Erica, what do you think about that news?
This is the first time I'm hearing of it. I'm real curious as to why, because I would have liked that myself, even for the cheap pop, even just for, nostalgia, whatever the heck. But yeah, I would have liked that. I'm curious as to, is there heat? Is there drama?
I just
What's the juice?
I don't think they know what they're doing. I think just every week they show up to Raw and SmackDown. They're like changing plans last minute. I mean, look at the Royal Rumble, for example. We heard how chaotic it was. And when me and Tuck went to go meet The Miz, we were like, how are you excited for tonight? He goes, it's going to be chaotic. And that might have been an indication.
That what I don't think that was a work. Yeah, I think it was actually being
This is like shit. We don't know what we're doing tonight. Like,
you'll find out when I find out. We'll see.
Like, could you imagine how stressful that is going into our jobs and just having no idea what you're going to be doing? No. You just show up, and it's like,
I'm a teacher, dude. That's literally my job every day.
We can't all be Jim Tuckers in this world, right, Marina?
True. Some of us have to be. Like, I complain about my job. I'm like, I know every Monday what's going to happen. I know how my Tuesday is going to go. I know my Wednesday is going to go, and I hate it. But I guess it's better than walking into a shit show every time that you punch in. So
yeah. So hopefully Kurt Angle gets involved somehow. Yeah. Apparently he's on good terms. Obviously, if they're talking about it.
Well, and I think we came out of that academic challenge like feeling good about it. I enjoyed it. I shushed my class. I've been shushing my class since Monday, and they don't get it. Nobody gets it. I have one girl that understands what I'm doing, and she called me Chad on the way out. She was like, "Have a good day, Chad," and everyone was like, "Nobody got it." She got it. Instant fave, automatic A.
That should be an A plus. That shouldn't be an A. That should be an A plus.
She automatically graduates.
We all love Chad Gable. And we all love a good shoosh. That bottom line right there. So those are the headlines. Not much going on outside of AEW. They had a whole show full of headlines. So we might as well just get right into this week's AEW Dynamite. And it was a good one. And it started off with the celebration for MJF defeating CM Punk last week in Chicago. So you had Wardlow, you had FTR, Sean Spears, Tully Blanchard. You know who all is going to be there, the Pinnacle, to greet MJF as he entered the ring. And then MJF gets a nice little makeout session too.
Was that girlfriend?
I don't know. Was it? You would probably know that.
Well, I recognize one of the girls. I don't know if she's in MLW, but the non-makeout girl. I recognized her, Gabby something, I think. And I was like, oh, like good for her, this and that. And then when the makeout happened, I was like, I don't like it. I'm not a prude. It was just too much.
Yeah, but that's perfect for MJF. It is too much.
Absolutely. I would not expect him to come on there and have like a clean kiss. Like it worked, but no.
I don't think anybody was doubting that MJF, shouldn't have beat CM Punk, but I think this was justification of all the good things that can come after him defeating CM Punk. Like this segment right here, the way he came out on the throne, he had people carrying him in, and then the way that Sean Spears and all those guys treated him. I mean,
with he gave Justin Roberts like the intro cards.
Man, I'm a big MJF fan now. As you can see, I've changed my mind. I'm wearing his shirt right now. I know I've trashed him on this podcast. I tried to start a feud, but I'm going to embrace the heel. Will Wardlow turn on MJF soon, or are they going to keep cooking this? So that's funny. Quinn brought that up because that was going to be one of the things that I actually brought up when we were talking about it, Tuck. So I'll let you take that question there from Quinn.
I feel like the call out from CM Punk during Dynamite last night sped up the program a little bit. I don't know if the payoff's at Revolution, because that's only weeks away, but if it's at Double or Nothing, I'll be there. So that's my play.
Devil's advocate, do you think there's a chance, just because I think I kind of like it, do you think there's a chance that, all right, Punk called out Wardlow last night, planted all those seeds, this and that, it looks like it's going to happen, and then does Wardlow almost like tease like it's going to happen and that he's, with Punk, this and that, and then kind of like blindside Punk, and then like he remains with MJF, and then the turn comes down the road? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a possibility, but I think most fans, including myself, probably want the babyface Wardlow. But I mean, it would be a swerve if they did go in the direction that you're kind of talking about. And as Vogus is saying, he's wrestling singles matches as a babyface. That's pretty much how they are booking him now when he is doing these squash matches. So that's probably what is going to be happening. But in this segment, you had CM Punk obviously interrupt. He brought out Sting and Darby Allin, and he said he wanted his rematch. And then MJF was like, fine, I'll give you that rematch, but you're going to have to find a partner that's not Sting or Darby Allin. And my mind immediately, guys, goes straight to Samoa Joe. I don't know what you were thinking because I know you weren't watching live, but I went straight to Samoa Joe.
I was watching not live, and I got confused, and I thought he had to pick two. I thought it was a triple tag match. So I was like, oh my God, who's it going to be? So I really didn't know. I misunderstood. Okay.
Tuck, did you have any thoughts going on there?
I didn't have a specific wrestler in mind, but immediately when that stipulation came into play, Tony Khan went on record and said, it might not just be one thing, right? The forbidden door is going to be open in some capacity. We had our thoughts on who it would be, and I'm like, okay, this is a perfect way to get all the focus on the entrance to make that pop. But I didn't have someone specific in mind. And from the start, great storytelling and many layers immediately from the jump on this show.
We all were anticipating this feud between CM Punk and MJF, and I think it's fair to say it's probably exceeded expectations so far, when you say?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
I agree.
that's nice. So we'll hopefully we'll get another match there at Revolution. But after that, we got the Inner Circle meeting going on AEW Dynamite. This segment was also a lot better than I expected it to be, and that's not saying that I thought it was going to suck, but I felt like for that segment, it did a lot for everyone, especially Santana in his promo.
Yeah.
I came out of that. Yeah, I came out of that feeling Santana and Ortiz kind of pulling for them. And I love Chris Jericho. So that's an interesting feud when both sides are pulling at you in the way that it did. Because a lot of times with the Inner Circle stuff, it just feels like a lot of pomp and circumstance without a ton of juice. But Santana wasn't playing games. He went after Chris Jericho and had legitimate arguments, but hats off to Jericho for clapping back, because he had a resume for Santana and Ortiz too, with their opportunities and things like that.
Quinn, I do think it is going to die. He goes, I think the Inner Circle needs to die. I think that's what we're leading to next week, wouldn't you say?
Wouldn't you say?
I guess Erica would say no.
I just, the way you said it.
Vogus, I thought Ortiz promo was the most impressive. It was very believable. I mean, just all around, I thought it did a lot of good for these guys. And Jericho was like, Santana was basically saying Jericho was always the one that held him back. And then he said if it wasn't for Ortiz, Santana would have whooped his ass already. So I think there was nice like seeds planted in there. And then you had also Sammy Guevara, who walked out on this segment. So now we get that match next week, and that's probably where things are coming to an end, right, Erica?
I would say. And then I started to do the math, because when I know Eddie's out for, what'd they say?
Oh, what are we going to do without Eddie Kingston?
Shut up, because I thought it was going to be a 3-on-3. So I was like, oh shit, like maybe here comes Eddie. So I was doing the math from when I got that DM with his gnarly eye and whatever. And I mean, I do still hope that like kind of happens. Whatever.
It could down the road. Let's also point out the fact that Eddie Kingston said he doesn't like Bryan Danielson.
Pointed out.
Didn't know anybody disliked
No, Ryan Bogus. I can't wait for Eddie to say that he hates you, and then he can stop saying that he hates everyone.
I mean, what did he say? Eddie needs to stop saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, does Eddie just not like anyone? Is
Bryan Danielson not like supposed to be some like super heel right now? That just and everything that he's saying is not a lie. And so that makes it very.
Stand by your man.
I'm a loyal bitch. What do you want from me?
I mean,
respect.
I'm not gonna hate the game right there. I get where you're coming from, but I think next week that will probably be the end. Santana Ortiz got to go over here, right, Ty?
I think so. I feel like it's time. If not now, when?
Quick cue. Then what about Jake Hager?
So, Erica, that's a good layup here for me. I kind of tweeted something along that. Like, I think after the Inner Circle dies, Jake Hager's either you're going to let his contract expire or you're going to release him. Because seriously, where does Jake Hager fit in AEW without anything Inner Circle related?
He doesn't exit the.
What?
He doesn't exit the forbidden door. He just the exit door. Maybe the garage door that they slam people into every week. I don't know. That was solid. That was impressive. Screen door. Sip.
You could have been a mime or some shit right there. That was... all right, you got to stop doing that. You're freaking me out. I keep thinking Tuck's freezing over here.
Do you think, though? Wait, sorry, really quick. Do you think that if the Inner Circle dies, Santana Ortiz go over, they start doing their own thing, Sammy Guevara can stay wherever the hell he's at. I don't care about him anymore.
Do you just not like him because he's doing this stuff with Ty?
Yeah. I don't care.
Okay, no, I'm just asking. You can have your opinion. I'm not shitting on it.
I don't like it. I'm on Team Pam. Do you think then, okay, Jake Hager, whatever he does, do you think though that the dissolving of the Inner Circle, like, does that mean, do you think Jericho leaves or takes a reprieve, or
maybe he does something with just commentary? And it seems like singles Chris Jericho and AEW wouldn't work as well as it could maybe in WWE. So I could maybe see him just stepping away and not doing anything in AEW, but I don't know his current contract situation. I think that would be a tall tale sign of what's to come for him.
Telltale is what he meant, but
yeah, that's it.
What did he say?
I saw
Tall
someone
tale.
say the Forbidden Door is the new "This is awesome" chant, and I agree. It's played out at this point.
Also, dream match.
What's a dream match?
No, just like people saying that like nonstop. You know, what my dream match? Like everybody versus everybody. Like, yeah, that'd be a good match.
Any good wrestler versus any good wrestler.
Yep.
But speaking of dream matches, Keith Lee and Miro, sign me up for that. But we will get to Keith Lee here in a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So prior to the commercial break, after that segment, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks jumped Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta, only to be interrupted by the Switchblade himself, Jay White. And I don't know much about Jay White, but I do know his history with the Bullet Club and how good of a wrestler he is. But it seems like the phrase, the Forbidden Door is open once again, as we are seeing Jay White show up in AEW. How do we feel about that?
I have a Jay White t-shirt from a Pro Wrestling Crate, so now I can wear that because I've seen him once. No further comment.
Erica?
I'm just interested.
Do you know much about Jay White? Like, have you seen his work?
No, my friends do, but I don't.
Yeah, he's mainly a New Japan guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people find time to watch all this wrestling, because I watch WWE and AEW and I just don't have time to watch.
I started to watch Stardom in bed and I fell completely in love with it. But I will also say it's extremely hard to navigate on YouTube when all of it's in Japanese. So I'm like going off of the picture. I'm like, where's the Grand Prix that I was just watching? I don't know. Is this it? Is this current? Is this 5 years old? I have no clue what I'm watching, but I'm like, these guys are fucking awesome.
Marini's pulling out the Google Translate just to watch Stardom. That's what I would be doing. I wouldn't know what to do, but somebody asked on Twitter, they're like, who are you most excited for in AEW, Jay White or Keith Lee? I was like, well, last time I checked, Keith Lee's the one that's actually in AEW. This can't be a full-time thing.
You wouldn't think. And I mean, the majority of fans, and maybe it's close, 60-40, whatever, but the majority of fans are more familiar with Keith Lee than they are Jay White. Like, we all know who Jay White is, but can you tell me like
the mainstream fan
match that he's had that you thought was great? Yeah, like no. So I mean, we all know what to expect from him after he kicks
dream
down
match
the
with the Forbidden Door
and has a dream match. Yeah. And this is awesome. So
we should make drinking games out of the shit that we say, because our listeners would be absolutely hammered.
That would be a Saturday shoot, not a Sunday shoot.
Oh yeah, speaking of that, Tuck, you want to bring up the Sunday shoot? What's going to be going down here in potentially in a couple weeks?
Well, you know, we got tired of only seeing each other once a week, and we found we thought of an idea, doing a little bit more of an informal kind of a BS session, right? So on Sundays, some Sundays, not regularly scheduled programming, without an outline, a little bit more interactive, maybe going off of a script that we don't have. We're going to do a thing that we call Sunday Shoot. So we get up, show up, and we talk, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of recap where SmackDown will be a little bit fresher. Rampage will be a little fresher as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, we don't usually get to around to talk about SmackDown. Rampage. Isn't a BS session what this is? Erica's never prepared. Yeah, Erica showed up last minute, 2 margaritas deep. What? Can
I get a lavender margarita?
They were delicious. I'm going to text you guys a picture of it because it was like super pretty.
You don't have to apologize for your alcoholism, Erica. Like, we're here for it. And
you don't have to apologize for anything. That's something I tell Erica behind the scenes.
I'm going to over apologize.
Yeah, she's a big, I'm sorry, but I'm like, don't be sorry. The more open you are and just random, the better. People like that.
We're here.
Yeah. We're here. Yeah, exactly. So let's get into the big news of this week, and that Keith Lee, as you can see in the graphic, is now revealed as the mystery opponent of Isaiah Cassidy and is officially All Elite. In the matter of minutes, we go from Jay White appearing to the debut of the Limitless One. First off, what a reaction that he got. Second off, I'm a big fan of this theme music. And third, I'm very excited to see what's to come.
I love that. Last night, I noticed some guy in the crowd had like, he has the silhouette. Yes, he had a poster of that. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, he called it. He knew he's there. Like, awesome for that guy. And then today I saw Keith Lee like thanking everybody for the support, this and that. And then he said, and to the guy that had the sign with the silhouette on it, like, thank you. That really hit me. That like meant so much. And I just like, I loved it. Love Keith Lee.
There was a bask in his glory chant too, right? Like,
yeah, and that's why I said I'm so glad that and he like stopped Isaiah Cassidy and like let everybody like do it. So I was like, I'm so glad that that's still like alive and going, because he deserves it.
He deserves a lot. I mean, we talked about how bad they fucked up in WWE with Keith Lee, and we're not gonna continue to harp on that because we've talked about it, and the internet will take care of that for us. Trust me. But let's talk about the excitement levels and the potentials for Keith Lee, because not only did he win this match and he earned that spot at Revolution in the ladder match, which Keith Lee in a ladder match, that's going to be insane itself. But I mean, this is one of their biggest signings. You could obviously say that Punk and Danielson are probably up there 1 and 2, but for potential reasons, Tuck, there's not many people with a bigger upside, I think, than Keith Lee.
Well, I agree. They let him wrestle without covering up his assets as well, which is a move that I respect, because when he went to the main roster, they put him in a singlet and called him a Bearcat. So we thought Keith Lee was can't miss, and in AEW,
world champion.
He isn't. Hopefully he doesn't get the Miro treatment. And I would like to see a quick push. Maybe not in the world title scene, but maybe in the TNT title scene. Make it, book him strong early on, and let him and his size show his athleticism. I'm excited for it.
I don't know, that TNT title scene seems crowded. It seems like everybody always cuts a promo.
As soon as Tuck said that, I was like, I agree. And then I was like, damn, I wish there was like a third belt. Like,
well, Erica, let me throw you this when we're here. So Adam Cole obviously is probably next for Paige. What if Cole is the one to take over for Paige as champion, and then we revisit the Keith Lee, Adam Cole stuff from NXT and AEW?
I'd be into that.
Which, speaking of NXT and AEW, that's another point I wanted to bring up, is the fact that, what do you think Triple H is thinking? I mean, I'm not trying to be sad about it, because
I saw somebody say something about that today. Like, how sad, like all of the work that he did, everything that he put into making NXT what it was, what it could be, what it should be. And then it gets taken from him and it just gets completely repackaged and kind of just like shit on. And now all of his like latest babies that, should have been superstars have just kind of left, and now they're thriving elsewhere. I'm sure he's happy for them, but at the same time, like, that has to suck.
Tuck, I remember the days where we were doing episodes, doing head-to-head, AEW versus NXT. And in those episodes, Keith Lee, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, all these names were NXT head-to-head. And now, 2 years later, they're a part of AEW. It is insane.
It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. I'm not going to take that back. There's a lot of different avenues for us to be satisfied, but I don't see how creative on main roster at WWE is seeing these guys do so well in NXT, go to AEW, and not let Triple H just take over. Just go.
I don't get it.
And again, it's a health thing now, but when he's healthy and ready, go.
When he's healthy and ready, if he became all elite, I would go through the roof. Because someone needs to do something right, and
they would either need another show or to extend hours. I mean, I don't think that ever happens, just because he's married to Stephanie, and that would cause some real life family turmoil probably. But there is no AEW without Triple H. I'm just going to say it right there, because if they don't do NXT, I don't think AEW becomes a thing.
It's far more minor league without the Triple H effect. I mean, you take out CM Punk would still be there. He's not a Triple H product, right? You got Bryan Danielson, but then you pluck out Adam Cole, you pluck out Keith Lee.
Bryan Danielson was NXT, wasn't he?
Yeah, but not with Triple H.
Okay.
And he was only like a coach on the game show that they did in NXT.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
I think AEW would still be good, but I don't think it would be at the spot that it is right now.
No, I don't think it would be as much. Yeah, no.
And then there's people like ripping them. They're like, "Oh, you're just signing these former WWE guys. You're not gonna not sign Adam Cole or Keith
They're
Lee."
signing former WWE guys that should have been pushed to the moon that weren't, and they're taking these missed opportunities and making them for themselves. That's what they're doing. They're not. I mean, there are some ex WWE guys that will remain nameless that I feel like, why did they sign that guy? Because
100% bogus. 100%. He said AEW is what NXT could have been with the full backing by a billionaire. Yeah. But Vince, the billionaire on the other side, was the one restricting NXT from becoming that potential, I think. And that's why.
And for what?
Hey, but I mean, there's no complaints because now we don't just get one big wrestling company. We really have two, and they're both awesome in their own ways. Well, one's more awesome than the other one right now, but I mean, they're still both very good. So, yeah, Keith Lee being a part of AEW is huge news. Endless possibilities there. Yeah. So hopefully.
And can I just say, I very much appreciate, sorry to interrupt you. I very much appreciated
that. Stop apologizing.
The match wasn't a squash match.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he was able to showcase all things that make him great.
Absolutely. And I think, you know what I would love to see, just because I'm very selfish and I know that's not going to happen.
Dream match?
Dream match part 20 is, well, not really, but I would love to just see Keith Lee versus Dijakovic 3 more times, and that's all. Or just give me somebody like Dijakovic in AEW. I love Keith Lee against big guys. I love Keith Lee not as much, but I love him against smaller guys. But big guy on big guy with Keith Lee, I like it.
BM.
Big meaty men bumping meat. That's right. Feast your eyes indeed, Ryan Vogus. T-Bar tearing it up on WWE main event. He just had a match with Veer. So
Veer came.
Yeah, he came on main event, but he's not coming to Raw yet. We'll
a lot of come talk lately here. Patreon.com/pot on the mark.
/ come talk.
Ooh, yep. That's another spinoff show we got coming. Is Come Talk. 5 retweets on this episode.
We're busy.
Make sure you're following us at Pot on the Mark, man. You got to tune in live. I mean, you gotta find this stuff out the minute we announce it. I mean, there's the only way. It's the only way to do it. So let's move on here in AEW Dynamite. CM Punk's partner was none other than Jon Moxley himself. A great choice. I know I said Samoa Joe and Bogus thought Daniel Bryan, but I'd say Jon Moxley is a pretty good partner to have. And this tag match, I thought was electric. You had nonstop action from start to finish and a lot of fun, interesting things going on in this tag.
I agree. And, the satisfying thing for the surprise entrant was we had the Forbidden Door was open. Keith Lee made a debut. We had the dangle of another surprise entrant. So who else is going to be in the mix? And Moxley showed up, and it was okay, it's still awesome, right?
Very satisfying.
It was still satisfying. It wasn't a doink, it wasn't a miss. And the match was great too, aside from Tully's weapon being his jacket.
I mean, there's a lot going on in that match, but I think a big takeaway too, Erica, is FTR always bills themselves and just says they're the best damn tag team on the planet. I don't think there's any disputing that when you see a match like that.
No, and they're another one in WWE.
Yeah.
Not as severe as others, but
well, that's an NXT baby right there too. The revival.
Yeah. No, there's somebody that you're just you just always root for them. And I don't know if you've touched on this or if you plan to touch on this, but a point brought up to me was, all right, so Punk chose Moxley, whatever, and now they're teaming together. And then what does maybe Bryan Danielson think of this? Because last week he was trying to recruit Mox to be with him, and will he feel some type of way that he opted to take up Punk on his offer?
That's definitely an option. Yeah, maybe that's just another wrinkle in that Moxley and Bryan stuff,
Get Punk involved. Maybe.
I didn't even think about that, Tuck. That's actually making my mind go a million places at once.
Wow.
Shout out to Dinner with Bobby. That's what
another show coming to OTM. We got a lot going on here. We're going to have one every day of the week. That way they can't get rid of us. You're just going to see us on Twitter, Facebook, and all that good stuff. So
we'll be around.
One critique I had, and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw it, is that I've had this critique before too with AEW tag matches, is the officiating. And a lot of chaos that didn't make much sense, even though it was fun and entertaining for me. I'm not taking away from the fact that I enjoyed this match because I did. But if you are booking FTR as the best damn tag team in wrestling, shouldn't they be pleading with the refs or at least trying to enforce the tag team rules? Because we saw a lot of just tornado tag style wrestling here in this matchup. That's my only critique.
Yeah, I don't really go into AEW tag matches expecting them to follow the rules anymore. I am no longer the get off my lawn guy. I don't let it affect me. I'm just along for the ride. I lived that life for a moment. Life is too short to complain about tag rules.
Well, somebody's got to be that guy on this show, right?
And you have no problem being him.
I have no problem being that guy. Hey, but I thought it was a great match. Like I'm going to talk obviously at the end of the show how much I enjoyed the entirety of this episode, but that was one of the better tag matches that we've gotten. And seeing a CM Punk Moxley tag team, that's something that I didn't expect to see. But here we are, Erica.
Yeah, and I love too. I think I said this when I was watching. This has nothing to do with the match, but I loved knowing that Renee and Punk are like real good friends. And then like having him and Mox as a tag team. I don't know. I love like the inside stuff about stuff.
I also saw a thing when they cut the cameras that Moxley and Punk were going back to Gorilla, and Moxley did like the Roman Reigns secret handshake thing that he always does, where he like tilts his fingers back like this.
Oh.
He did. I don't know if that was like a nod to Roman Reigns or everything, or just Moxley's,
like out maybe,
having fun with it. And you could tell that they all enjoyed that. And FTR, like I said, fantastic in that match. So let's move on here to the main event then. The last thing. Oh, no, we got a few things before that. Sorry, I was jumping the gun there. Jade Cargill defeated AQA. I really don't have anything to say about this match. I didn't think it was bad. I don't think it was great. Anybody got anything to take away from this match?
I didn't realize Jade Cargill was undefeated. And the match happened. That's it.
Erica, who's going to take that title away from Jade Cargill? That's what I want to know.
On top of that, who's going to take it away from Britt?
Fuck.
I feel like either something astronomical has to happen over the next however long, or it's somebody that's not within that company yet.
I want to say this will never happen, but like you could see they're kind of teasing as Jamie Hayter, but I don't think she's been built up big enough to be that. And maybe they can revisit the Thunder Rosa thing, because there's kind of some stuff. If you watch Rampage, Mercedes Martinez was kind of hired by Britt, and Mercedes and Thunder Rosa had that draw. So maybe this is all just to get back to Thunder Rosa, because I know we've talked about this before. And that's
cool
really
too.
the only name. That's really the
only name that's current that I could see. Otherwise, like it's definitely like forgive me, but it's like a Charlotte or a Sasha, like somebody that's already like huge to come in and like take that off of her. I can't see it being someone that's still like needing to be built up to it. I don't know. And I could be wrong.
Vogus said them saying she does a shooting star press before she did it took away from the excitement of the move. I didn't even notice that. But apparently Erica did. Yeah, Tuck, any names that pop up in your head for potential, opponent for Jade Cargill?
No. I mean, Serena Deeb, they started pushing her a little bit with the Professor Challenge.
Yeah, where's that
so
going?
maybe she's one that can steal it.
And I feel like it's got to be no time soon, right?
No. And I would have said Ruby Soho, but they just had Ruby lose to fucking Nyla Rose. Like, why do we? Everybody knows I'm not a fan of Nyla Rose. I don't think she's a good wrestler. I'm not a fan. Yada yada yada. But Ruby Soho is a big deal in my opinion. I thought getting her was maybe that potential next person to dethrone a Britt Baker and maybe even a Jade in this situation. But if you have Ruby start off hot and now she's just eating all these losses, we need to build up people that are going to be, credible enough to take down a Jade Cargill or Britt Baker.
But could they be cooling her off just to sort of lay, what's the word?
Bogus. Just bring back Sheeta so I can hate her. Jesus Christ.
Like maybe
if we're talking about surprise returns, are we not going to talk about Emi Sakura?
Was she even on Dynamite?
No, I mean, I'm here for it.
eventually.
Surprise
She's been
return.
on Dark. I think I tuned into Dark maybe a couple times when I got bored and she was there. So she's got that going for her, Tuck. He's a big soccer fan. No, but Erica, what were you getting at when in terms of laying down? What were you getting at there?
Well, what you said about Ruby Soho, she did come in very hot, but now she's cooling off. But I just overthink. So what if could she be cooling off and kind of just laying dormant, and then something happened, and then she kind of comes back out of nowhere and reignites, and now she's in like the main title picture. I don't know, maybe
that, or you bring the Erica Macaroni from Dark. So
she's got it.
Yeah, Tuck's doing it there. He's got it going on. The only thing I can think of, and you talked about it, Erica, is somebody coming in from, the outside, maybe Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon. And you've never been into her though.
No, it's because it's outside of the ring. It just takes away. I don't. I'm sorry. She's probably really nice in life, but like her promos, even when she was partners with Shotzi, like I feel like she didn't have her own personality. She just kind of like latched onto whatever Shotzi was doing, and it's just like, and I get that, like whatever, but it's just like for me.
You at least think she's a good wrestler, though, right?
Yeah, would I want her to be the one to like dethrone Britt or Jade?
No, I don't think Britt, but maybe Jade. I mean, eventually Jade's got to lose because she's so green, and then you can just build her back up after she loses the title because she can't be champion forever.
No, and then maybe after she loses that title, then maybe she, by that point, whatever.
Maybe she's the one to take down Britt, Tuck. Maybe she's the one.
Tony Storm looming.
Ooh.
Anybody?
Like it.
I
like
it.
I
don't know what we're doing, but I'll do it.
I like it. I mean, you like that better than Ember Moon, don't you?
Yeah, I love Tony Storm.
Okay, so that's what we're going to book. We're putting it out there. We're manifesting right here. Everybody, come on, manifest it together. Tony Storm.
Dream match.
Tony Storm.
Enter that forbidden door, Tony.
We're going to make this shit happen.
Yes.
So, Tuck, you talked about Serena Deeb. She had that 5-minute rookie challenge thing going on, and I was hoping that maybe it could be an Athena, a.k.a. Ember Moon, but it wasn't. It was just an enhancement talent. But regardless of, the shortness of this match, I do want to say this. I really enjoyed the way they have presented Serena Deeb in 2022 because we all knew she was the woman of 1,000 holds, but now there's a little bit of character behind, that in-ring ability.
Yeah, I'm glad she has the mic, and although it didn't last very long, she got a moment on a really good show. So it just shows that she does have a certain level of value to the company, and maybe she is the one that takes it. I could see her, because Jade Cargill is so green, taking it off of her. I don't really see her as a credible threat to Britt.
I like that. Okay. Erica, I know Macaroni was thinking about calling out Deeb's nuts, but she didn't show up. But what are your thoughts on Serena Deeb so far in 2022?
Like you said, I think I was all in on Macaroni, really taking her out. But like you said, there's something different to it now. Like we respected her. We knew what we knew about her, and there was no argument as to, that she's great in the ring. But now it's almost like a level of, I don't want to say it's like confidence or like cockiness. And maybe that's just me buying into it, where it's like, I can throw out these challenges and I'll give somebody 5 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? To think so much of yourself and then to back that up every week. Like it's something like character development. And I just, it's just kind of like turning a new page, and it's just working for me.
It's working for me too. I'm a big fan of hers, and Vogus has to
just even show that comment.
Sign Nia Jax. Ryan Vogus says, burn it all to the ground. Well, we can't all have great takes. He is our MVM, but
Quinn, where are you?
Yeah, where's Quinn been? We haven't.
Quinn.
Oh yeah, Quinn. Sorry, who is one strike away from being kicked from the OTM Side Pieces group chat.
You always have my 33.3, Quinn.
You want him to spoil things for you?
No, he doesn't mean to, and he doesn't really.
Oh, you don't know that.
Oh no.
Come on.
Ice cold take. I think that guy is a cold, calculated, spoiling killer. This award is a cakewalk. But for real though, I mean,
honestly, Vogue, the award should just be named after him, like have a little ingrained
I can't wait until I get a burner Never
You
mind.
have one. You have one. It's Erica Macaroni. Follow her on Twitter.
Me. What did you just say? Follow me on Twitter. Yeah, you
I
bitch.
said follow you on Twitter.
I think you said me.
You're putting words in my mouth.
I
What's
also
the
think I
password
heard
for
a
her
name. I'm
login?
definitely
Right?
You would know the password.
No, I wouldn't. I don't even know my password, so let alone
I believe that.
If
I'm
I'm ever logged out of Twitter,
back it up. That's
the
very
way,
weird flex.
The way this show started, I am not surprised you don't know your password, Erica. She's like, when the computer asks, save this password. Oh, yes, please. I don't know what I'm doing.
I never say never. Yes, please.
Yeah. My mom says you never want to do that, but I need to do it because I'll forget.
I have to do that.
Yeah. I trust my computer.
I can remember my credit card number within
what is it?
5424.
Patreon.com/
Tune in for the rest of the 12 digits.
Damn, we were really going to have to up the payment on this Patreon after giving out your credit card info because the amount of wrestling shows you go to, you're probably loaded over there, Macaroni. So,
no kids?
No kids. Hey, none of us got kids.
For real.
We're all living the dream over here.
Yeah.
Tuck's happily married though, right?
Absolutely. Still.
Shout out to Mista. She's awesome.
Shout out
and
yeah.
Speaking of SummerSlam, could be the debut of Mr. Arena. People are talking.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? And the name is just too fluid. It's just too good to not
good.
Be.
You got to give the people what they want, and that's what the people want.
Oh, yep.
And if we take off by SummerSlam, we can have our own OTM get together. Just everybody meet up at SummerSlam, Nashville, Tennessee. Let's fucking go.
Here we are.
Hey, girl, are you
from Tennessee?
From Nashville? Because you're the only 10 I see.
Started off strong pullback.
Because where are you from? Nashville?
How does she butcher that when Nashville's in Tennessee?
Because you're the only 10 I see.
Very, very confident though. I do appreciate how strong you were at the beginning.
The important line, I deliver it right. Let's get into this Texas death match.
Let's do that. Let's do that, Erica. So the main event was that Texas death match between Hangman Page and Lance Archer. And guys, they got right into it. No entrances, just started brawling, which I liked. We got blood early, thanks to some random glass being put on the entrance ramp. Was I the only one that noticed that just randomly popped up?
Yeah, and unlike King of the Ring, that pane actually broke the first time. So hats off to AEW for that.
Yeah, they got it right there. And of course, Dan Lambert got involved by loosening the top rope and detaching it. So Hangman wouldn't be able to hit the buckshot lariat, which, Erica, I thought that was a nice little touch and good storytelling in this match.
I did, and then it was even cooler how he hit the buckshot anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that finish itself was insane. But before that, we had the barbed wire, we had chairs, and then Archer even launched Page onto some stairs on the outside, which that bump, I thought Page was dead. That was insane.
I wanted to be his wife in that match at many points.
That was one of those actual reactions where I just had to just concerned. Insanity, Tuck. This match was just hot start, hot finish.
Well, it was long enough to satisfy you, but it didn't overstay its welcome. It was, they had I think there was 16 minutes left on the clock, on my ticker as I was watching it back, because I didn't watch it live, and I wondered how it would play. And they knew the gas pedal was on the right, and they kind of stayed there. I really enjoyed the top rope spot because of the psychology behind it, or the storytelling behind it as well. And that stair spot was not a joke. Apparently, although they are steel, they can bend. So
yeah, they had a good torque to it when he hit, for sure. And I think a lot of us went into this main event not expecting Lance Archer to win, but there were plenty of spots in this match where you're like, oh, maybe, maybe there is a chance Lance can pull it off, because even though he lost this, Erica, I still think he looked very strong.
I was going to say, I don't think any of us expected him to win it, or at least walk away with a belt, because I still call it a belt. But I don't know that I personally expected it to be as good as it was. And like you said, he was booked super strong, and I loved it. and it was a gigantic bloodbath.
I mean, that finish where he wrapped the barbed wire around his arm and then he rocked Lance Archer a couple times, delivers the suplex, and then the buckshot lariat through the tables on the outside. That's a finish I've never seen before, and I don't want to see it again because that was perfect.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
That's what you call a forget about it.
So a match that I would say is probably an early candidate for match of the year, Tuck.
Yeah, candidate. I don't think it takes the cake, but it will be worth mentioning in months, I believe.
It's on the Gagliarda list.
Quick cue. What do you see Lance Archer doing after this?
That's a great question.
If anything,
I think he should be a part of a faction because there's so many factions in AEW that if you have a muscle like Lance Archer, and he also has like Jake and Dan Lambert, maybe he joins the Men of the Year and it's Lance Archer, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page.
Could be.
A side story that I'm interested in developing is his relationship with Jake the Snake as well. He pulled Hangman out of a DDT that Jake the Snake was trying to give. That led to turmoil down the road. So they could focus on that relationship as well and have him lose to guys that he shouldn't be losing to as well. I know that puts Lance Archer in a spot where he's taking losses, but it is developing a story.
And then just say see ya to Jake.
Yeah.
Probably. And
that's the dream match: Jake the Snake versus Lance Archer.
I was gonna use that phrase, but I was gonna say, what about Lance Archer and Keith Lee? You like big guys going at it.
Yep.
I mean, that could be a very good match. So the fun really didn't end there, though. After the match, Adam Cole would come out, grab the AEW title, and drape it over Hangman's shoulder. So it looks like we are going to be getting Adam Cole versus Hangman Page at Revolution, which a lot of people were chirping. They didn't think that Cole was being booked correctly, but I think they can all shut up now because it looks like Adam Cole is back in the main event where he belongs.
Also,
shut up, bitch.
Adam Cole, like, forgive me, Adam Cole is fucking Adam Cole. Like, he can do whatever they've had him do, and he's still Adam Cole, and he could be on, I'm not saying that he was, but he could be on Dark one week and then be in fucking main event picture the next week, and it's still just as credible because he's Adam Cole. Like, he doesn't need to be put right in the main event, like, spot the second he gets signed. He wasn't, and I feel like he's kind of just fit right where he's supposed to be fit, and now it's kind of moving along. And if they did book him in the main event the second he got signed, everyone would have a gripe with that too. Yep. So who are they getting?
Erica, to go to your point, I think a perfect example of Adam Cole not being thrusted always into the main event on the NXT side of things is when he had his feud with Pat McAfee, which was fantastic. And that wasn't the focal point of NXT. That was just a side feud. So it was awesome. It shows how talented Adam Cole is.
Yes.
Talk Adam Cole dethroning Adam Page. Yes or no?
Adam versus Adam. The winner keeps the name.
No.
It's tough, ain't it? It's tough.
Hangman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could
we'll see what life is like.
I can see it flipping. We'll get there. We got a couple more weeks until we pop off with a Revolution show. But overall, this AEW Dynamite for me personally was a top Dynamite of all time because from start to finish, I thought the hits just kept on coming and everything served its purpose on the show. Even the Serena Deep stuff. I mean, in the Jade Cargill, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it fit in the flow of things. And not that we care too much about ratings here on this show, but they drew 1.1 million last night, which is a very good number for them. So for comparison, Raw did a 1.4 million, but they were on Sci-Fi this week. So that just goes to show you when Tony Khan hypes something up, people want to tune in.
We eat it up.
I think the confidence from the viewer is there when Tony Khan says something, they believe it.
Yeah,
the thing that I liked about that show, he said the Forbidden Door was going to open, and it did. It satisfied a different type of viewer, right? And a little bit more of a niche market. We got the big pop with Keith Lee. We got a niche market for those that are into New Japan. I understood it. I wasn't disappointed. I'm intrigued to find out more about Jay White. So I just thought it was a good show. It satisfied many types of viewers along the way as well. You don't sleep on Tony Khan. When he says something, he's probably going to deliver.
And I think too, to touch on that, is that Tony Khan, he's not just like a businessman. Tony Khan is a huge effing mark.
He's a mark.
So if he's excited for something, like chances are you should probably be excited too. And even if it's like you said, like we're not all super familiar with Jay White, but we know he's a big deal, and you know something like great is going to come from this, whether it's a handful of matches or whatever it is. Like, so just I don't know, just like I don't know.
Yeah, and the
Tony
Jay
Khan is one of us. He's just fucking loaded. And has
very loaded. The thing I did like though about the Jay White thing is because he had his back turned, and there's like that anticipation that you don't know 100% who it is until he finally turned around, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, what is Jay White doing in AEW?" And none of us really know much about him, but we know who he is, we know what he looks like, and we know all of his accomplishments.
Touched on like the Bucks having issue, and
and like Adam Cole said, once you're Bullet Club for life, and all that, the show from top to bottom, fantastic. I thought it was one of the best that they've had. So it's that time of the show, and once again, it is pretty unanimous once again. So I'm not even going to
ask me.
We're not going to ask you because it's very obvious that this man is going to be retaining his MVM and still the most valuable mark of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, Ryan Vogus.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Vogus, are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only 10 I see.
She did it.
I'm just I got this cash box here. I'm just gonna start dropping MVMs in it. So the next time I see Vogus, I'll just give it to him. He can unlock it. So
she did, I would say, with that pickup line there from
came up with that all by myself.
It only took her like 5 tries to figure it out. So
hey girl,
are you from not?
We'll get there. One more comment here from Vogus.
He's blushing.
Oh,
nailed it. That.
It's just a good way to end the show. You know, we talked about some fantastic wrestling, and then just a heartfelt moment.
I probably only swore like 10 times, not even.
That's a record.
That was very tame for me.
Look at you.
She's learning. She's learning the way. Yeah.
Doing the damn thing. So, Tucky, I think that's all we got for him. You want to send us home?
Well, you know, we talked about AEW this week, and it's going to be hard for AEW to top a show like this week, next week, but we do have Vengeance Day coming up. We've got some main roster rumblings. We'll touch on that.
Chamber.
But we're gonna key in on we will preview the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, that's a preview, and then we've got some Vengeance Day to chat about as well. I've got to figure out what I'm doing because we have tryouts on that Saturday. So I think I have to stay off Twitter. I might have to take it off my phone.
Smart.
And watch in the evening and kind of make it an evening piece. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I'm really excited for the Chamber. We got a Vengeance Day wrap up. It's going to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.